Breaker Crunchers. It's Friday night in Phoenix, Arizona. I am Lance, and with me is Sam. Say hi, Sam.
Hey, what up, Lance? You're looking so good, man.
We are the Couch Crunchers, minus a few of our partners, one of which is late.
Yeah, Max is late. I think Tyler got stuck in the bathroom. I heard he was dropping a dooski, but he got suction.
Yeah,
there was suction created.
Mm-hmm.
So, we wish him all the best. Best of luck.
It's the classic honey, I'm stuck in the toilet scenario.
Yeah.
Had to call the paramedics and the fire department and everything, but
I mean, differential pressure is no joke, right? Yeah. You got to really watch out for differential pressure.
Well, it doesn't help that Kaylee, his wife, was just standing there laughing at him rather than like helping him. So
I know it's one of these don't help, just film scenarios. It's like, do I record the event or try to prevent or help the situation? And you really got to balance these things.
Right. There he is. There he is.
Hey, Maxie.
What's up, dude?
Apparently the show starts at 7:01 for me. Oh, it doesn't start at all.
Okay, see you later. Thanks for joining us, Max. Great show tonight.
Oh, man.
Max had a heck of a performance tonight. Well, that's where I want to start.
Yeah, that was Oscar worthy. I hear he's being nominated for shortest cameo in the Oscars. So we are covering WandaVision tonight, which I've actually seen both episode 1 and 2 twice. So I watched it early this morning. And made the mistake to also do my job while I was watching it. So then I watched it again at 5:30 before the show. And it stuck with me better the second time than it did the first time. But you guys,
I'll save
it, right?
Yeah, I'll save my comments for when we actually cover it. But yeah, I saw it first thing this morning.
Well, I just want to comment on how nice it was to actually have a new Marvel property to watch.
It's been so long.
Rather than the same old. I started watching The Amazing Spider-Man again the other day because I'm going through withdrawals.
Oh, wow, so that's Max, those are desperate times.
Yeah. Yeah. So Max, the show starts at 7:02 for you, huh? That was the sassiest. Most flamboyant, like, screw you, Lance, that I've ever seen.
I was, yeah.
Oh man,
I'm here.
So, let's see here. So yeah, I'm not really. I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately. Are you guys watching anything good?
I watched a series on Netflix called Lupin. It's French, so it actually looks like Lupin, Lupin. It was pretty good. It was about half of a series. It's about a thief and his efforts to clear his father's name, and pretty good stuff.
So the thief is trying to clear his father's name?
Yeah, so they don't really lay it all out for you right at the beginning. They kind of drag out the explanation for what's going on over the course of 5 episodes. But essentially, this guy is trying to steal an item that his father was accused of stealing, and then trying to clear his father's name because he doesn't think that his father ever stole it. And so he becomes this master thief in order to clear his father's name from being an accused thief.
Oh, so he wasn't a thief beforehand.
Right.
He becomes a thief. Yeah, I saw the trailer on Netflix, and sometimes, so Netflix like puts a lot of effort into marketing some of these shows, the foreign language shows, and they can be hit or miss. So I only watch the ones where somebody says, yeah, watch that one, right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean,
some where they're just not good.
You only get 5 episodes. and it's clearly only half the season because nothing is resolved by the end of episode 5. They do tease that the rest of that season is coming soon, but they don't give us a date.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of that one, but I've been enjoying watching Vikings. I'm getting caught up on Vikings. That's what I've been watching. Season 6 came out a while ago. Well, Vikings does this weird thing where they release their seasons in like parts. Ever since season 4, they've done part 1 and part 2.
Is it a Netflix show?
No, Vikings is a History Channel show, but now it's on Amazon Prime. Season 6 part 1 was on Amazon Prime earlier this year, and then they just released season 6 part 2. I'm not done yet. I'm on episode 4 of 10 of part 2, but yeah, it's been pretty good. That's been really enjoyable. And then my wife and I have been watching that HBO Max show Love Life with Anna Kendrick. I'm like, you know what? I have this HBO Max service I'm paying for. I should watch something on it other than Wonder Woman 84. So we decided to finally watch something. I know Flight Attendant you say is really good, Lance, so maybe we'll have to check that out next. But
it's not really good, but it's good.
Okay, fair enough.
In a time when there's not much to watch, it's good.
If you are using your HBO Now subscription, you should watch Clarence, the full season of the full series of Clarence. Spectacular cartoon network show. It's so good. It's the best.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. My kids have watched that one, and apparently I have a video game on my Nintendo Switch that features him.
Oh, really? I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it's
one of the best shows ever.
Yeah, they watched that one. They watched the Gumball one, which is weird.
Amazing World of Gumball.
Yeah. So how far are you into Love Life, Max?
I think there's 10 episodes. We're maybe on the 4th. I think we're on the 4th episode. Something
Have
like
you seen that one, Sam? It's a good.
He shook his head, podcast listeners. He has
Sorry, no, I haven't seen Love Life.
It's a good show to watch with your spouse.
Hey, my name is Kyle. Retracted a message. I know what he said. He said that WandaVision made him go back into his MCU addiction. I don't know why you retracted that, Kyle, but
maybe he just wanted to wait to talk about it. He was waiting to talk about it till we talked about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Love Life is great, so I would recommend it. But HBO Max, I forget because Max and I are subscribed to pretty much all of them. HBO, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Peacock, HBO. And
I've been liking Peacock. They got the Superfan editions of the Office episodes.
Yeah.
So my wife and I have watched a few of those. Not a lot, but like they pretty much have all of season 3 as extended episodes. And we've watched the show enough that it's kind of fun to go back and be like, "Ooh, that's new. That's an extended scene." Too. Yeah.
So you know what's funny is The Office was the #1 streaming show of 2020 on any platform.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of people are subscribing to Peacock just for that show.
I'm pretty sure it's due to all the nights that I've left it running and fell asleep. And it just ran all night.
It's also due to the fact that it's an amazing show. My mother-in-law has this like hatred of it, and I need to get her to change her mind. Hatred's the wrong word, but she's like, I just don't get why it's funny.
My
I'm like,
I think it's an older
I don't get
person.
why you don't have a sense of humor, mother-in-law. That's what I say to that.
Yeah, my parents are the same way. They tried watching Schitt's Creek and weren't into it. And I'm just like, what is wrong? I think my parents might be homophobes, so I'm pretty sure. Because anytime there's a show with a gay person, that's their issue. Like without saying it's their issue, but it's their issue. And
maybe they don't like
out on it. They're like, "Oh no, it's this." I'm like, "Yeah, right."
Maybe they don't like bad words.
No, because we're Italian, so they say lots of bad words. My mouth came inherited from my parents. I got to really censor myself on this show because it's not like my normal vocabulary, right, Max?
Right. Yes.
This is a little tidbit. It's not really, it doesn't have a lot to do with our topics, but the first words you should learn in any language should be the swear words.
Okay. Why is that?
I'll give you an example. So when I lived in Mexico, there was a young guy who was also there, brand new. He didn't know the bad words. He didn't learn them yet. And he saw a Mexican friend of his at church talking to two girls at the same time. And so he wanted to call him, he wanted to congratulate him for talking to two girls at the same time. And so he looks in his dictionary and he finds the word pimp. And the word pimp in Spanish is puto, which is a bad word. And so he says out loud, really loud, tú eres un puto. And everyone's like, what? He's like, yeah. And when everyone looks at him, he's just like,
Wait, what did I just do wrong?
What did I do?
That's awesome. No,
so you should always learn those first.
And you should always learn the swear words because those are the words that carry the greatest emphasis.
Well, that's what so I've mentioned on the show, I lived in Brazil for a while, and it was funny that most of the words that Brazilians knew who didn't speak English was the swear words. So I'd be walking down the street and they'd be like, hey, hi, effing gringo. That's all they knew how to say. I was like, okay, whatever.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they were doing their English homework. Those are the first words they have to learn.
Well, then sometimes you had to mess with them, and they'd say, "Can you teach me some English?" And right after they called me, a mother effer because that's all they knew how to say, I would teach them how to say, "I am a moron," and I would make them repeat it. And then I would tell them no, and I'd teach them something real. I didn't want to be a complete jerk to these kids. They got a kick out of it.
So what I was saying is Max and I are subscribed to all the streaming networks, and I often forget when we're looking for something to watch. I often forget to check some of them because I've forgotten that I'm subscribed to them. So
yeah, I still haven't watched anything on Apple TV.
Oh, see, I didn't even name that one when I was going through all of them.
I've watched something on everything else. I have used all of the other ones. On Amazon Prime, I was watching The Vikings. My wife just watched Queen's Gambit on Netflix. She just binged the whole thing today. And I was watching Peacock earlier this week, and we watched Hulu. I was watching This Is Us on Hulu earlier this week, which, by the way, the episode this week was so good. Oh my gosh, I love that show.
This Is Us lost my interest about 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, your reasoning is so... I don't know why I'm still friends with you. Your reasoning is so poor.
What's weird. My reasoning? Because I don't even understand my reasoning.
The reasoning you said once is once they revealed how Jack died, you didn't want to watch it anymore.
Well, we watched a season.
That was the mystery. That was the mystery that was driving everything.
Yeah, but it only took 2 seasons for them to reveal that. There's other things they're getting at now. I think
it just
season 4 or 5.
It got to the point where they were like, here's our big mystery. Now we're going to try to make these timelines. It got convoluted when they started going in the future, I think.
Oh, I love that.
And
they still haven't explained any of that. It's such a tease.
No, I'm done.
Oh, it's such a good show.
Done. A Million Little Things is far superior.
They're on level playing field. This Is Us, I think, is slightly better, though.
Anything with Sean Spencer is going to be far superior.
He is really funny. James Roday. Yeah. Well, have you said what you've been up to, Lance? What have you been watching? What have you been doing?
So we just started a Search Party on HBO Max. That's what I was getting to. And then we keep going off on a different thing. But I forgot that Search Party season 4 was debuted yesterday, I think, on HBO Max. And that show is absolutely hysterical. It's basically take 4 hipster college kids that live in New York and that are just completely naive and everything about the world, and then put them into a accidental murder and then watch them not know how to function. And it's pretty good. It's they're 4 friends from college. They graduate college. One's an aspiring actress. The other is this gay guy that does he's super gay, and he does he's trying to run a charity, I think. And then the other one, the other 2 are dating, and this one girl gets accused of murder, and then just watching them make countless mistakes, countless upon countless mistakes, trying to get away with this murder, and it's hysterical. It's a great show, but it's 4 seasons are on HBO Max, and then I'm trying to remember what else. And then I'm watching Surviving Death on Netflix, which is a documentary about people with near-death experiences, and they're called flamers, not super gay.
Disavow.
But what did I say it was called? Surviving Death. So basically all these people that basically saw the light, and they're talking about what they saw after, like seeing their body on an operating room table and recounting all the events. It's really interesting. And it's making a lot of these people are basically like atheists, like they believe you die, and listening to their like viewpoint change and having that realization that maybe there is something was pretty remarkable. So it's a good show. And I watched the documentary on the Night Stalker, the documentary on crack cocaine. I've watched a lot of documentaries.
The swear word one, right? Wasn't there
really interesting?
Oh, I watched the history of swear words. Yeah, that one was funny. Although some of the ones they picked, I'm like, there's so many better ones. The F word, of course, but there were so many better ones that they could have picked.
Well, what did they miss?
I don't remember. I watched that like the day it came out. I know they got the F word. They got bitch. They got dick, which I'm like, dick. Like what?
That's just anatomy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Some of them I'm like, okay, this is funny because they're talking about this and watching them. The dick one, they go up like for 5 minutes and think of every other word, like slang word for dick.
You just missed an opportunity. You said for the dick they went up. You should have said for the dick they went down. But, I mean, sorry,
Max, you're such a dirty guy. Like you're naive 99% of the time, and then 1% of the time you come out with this like dirty jokes.
Sorry, I'm a bad person.
Oh man.
They're dirty jokes from a person that never really says dirty jokes.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, kids, don't watch that episode. Uncle Max is saying naughty things on tonight's episode.
Oh boy. Scoutmaster Max. That's what I've been made fun of before, talking about how I was a Scoutmaster.
Yeah.
But not anymore. Anyway, before we get into the show, can I talk about something exciting this week for me?
Okay.
I had a very busy week at work, but I also had a very good week in other regards. And let me show you guys, and I'll explain for the podcast listeners why. Dun, 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 it's a PS5! And dun, dun, you can't see it in there, but I got a new graphics card this week. I got my 3070 in there. That thing is legit. I got my PS5, and I've spent like only a small amount of time with each of them because I just haven't had time really, but it's been a lot of fun. And I learned this week that I'm getting better at computers because I installed my my graphics card, and then I started playing a game on it, and I'm like, this isn't performing as well as I thought. And I'm like trying to figure out why. I'm like reinstalling all these drivers, doing this other troubleshooting. And then I'm like, you know what? I should pull up my task manager and like see what's going on when I'm playing games. And as I'm playing my games, I'm noticing that my RAM usage is like super high when it shouldn't be. Like games take a lot of RAM, but I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and usually that's way more than enough for any game these days. And then I realized what happened was when I installed my graphics card, somehow one of my RAM sticks like came loose. And so now all of a sudden my computer is only saying I had 8 gigabytes of RAM instead of 16 gigabytes of RAM. And so anyway, it was just kind of a fun thing to realize, oh, I figured out why it wasn't working. So then I turned my computer off, reseat the RAM, turn it back on, game, and bam, now I'm getting 30 more FPS than I was before. The game's running so great. I don't know, it's just fun to troubleshoot.
Kyle thinks you're just about the coolest kid on the planet because you got a PS5.
I know, I see him and you got a PS5?
But guess what, dude? I got one too.
I know.
Actually, Max was successfully able to buy 2 PS5s at different dates for regular
From different
retail price.
retailers. Yeah, from regular retail price. And my graphics card is regular retail price. And yeah, it was a good week, man. Best Buy hooking it up, man.
Now I need to go get an Xbox.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need one with my PC. No. I mean, it'd be cool if I got one for free. I wouldn't complain.
It's really cool, Kyle, but until some more games come out, like
it's just window dressing.
I am going to agree with that. Like, I'm really excited to have it. But honestly, the reason I'm more excited than anything is I haven't had a 4K Blu-ray player since my Xbox broke in like June or May. Yeah. Since my Xbox One X broke. And so like I am very excited to have it so that I can play Miles Morales and like my old PS4 games are going to look even better. But I was really excited. So I picked up Captain America Civil War and Captain America Winter Soldier and the latest Star Wars on 4K disc when I got my PS5. And it's been really nice to throw those in and just enjoy the 4K.
Xbox One X broke?
Yeah, it broke like 6-7 months ago, yeah.
He's had pretty bad luck with his systems breaking, haven't you, Matt?
How did it break?
The motherboard just like stopped working. Like all of a sudden one day it was running games and then I went to turn it on the next day, black screen to death. And I did all this troubleshooting and like
no warranty period or anything?
It was past it because I'd had it for just over a year.
That's trash, dude.
Yeah, and then okay, here's what sucks. So that broke. And then I decided I would go get a refurbished one from Walmart because during the pandemic, everyone bought all the stock of consoles up, so you couldn't find a new one. So I got a refurbished one from Walmart. Plug that bad boy in. Doesn't work. It like would not update. And so I took it back, got my money back. And at that point, that's what made me switch to PC or strongly consider it. Like my Xbox One X broke. Then I got a new one. It didn't work. And then I tried to get a Series X and couldn't get that. And then I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm getting a PC. This is 3 times that I've tried to get an Xbox. They're not working for me, and I'm really glad I did it. Like earlier this week when my graphics card wasn't working as well as I wanted to, I was kind of pissed. I'm like, why am I PC gaming? I spent $500 on a graphics card and it's not even performing any better than an Xbox Series X would have, and that's the same price. And then I figured out what was wrong, and I'm like, okay, now it's performing excessively better than an Xbox would. But yeah, it's
all right. So when Henry Cavill got his gaming PC, he assembled the whole thing and filmed it in one of these like sweaty tank tops that he uses when he's training. Is there a sexy Max assembling a PC for all of our Couch Crunchers viewers?
Here, let me.
Matt's gone wild.
I know. I told you he was dirty.
No, there's no. Yeah, happy birthday, man. I do not have any pictures, but I did put the whole thing together myself, and now I'm upgrading the parts, and that's been a lot of fun. But Henry Cavill's got a much beefier PC than mine. Mine's definitely a high-end PC at this point. I think I can feel comfortable in saying this is a high-end PC, but it's not like high-end. Henry Cavill's graphics card is a $1,500 graphics card.
Well,
he works out, and he makes millions, so he's fine. $1,500 is like buying a Big Mac to Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Big Macs are still pretty good, though.
I'm just saying to a middle-class person, buying a Big Mac isn't a big financial decision. That's all I mean.
Yeah, I've been looking for an Xbox, dude, and they're still sold out. Their Target was supposed to get into some new stock. And
yeah, hopefully they will. It seems like PlayStations have been getting in stock more than the Xboxes. Because I was following a bunch of people on Twitter, and they were tweeting about anytime any of them are in stock, and I can only think of like 2 times I got in stock alerts. The Series S you can find if you want a Series S. Yeah, no, I get it. A lot of people do, but it definitely doesn't tickle my fancy.
Yeah, but if you have
here's what I'll say, dude. That thing's tiny. It is like the size of a big hardcover book, and that's tiny for a console. It's freaking small. When I was at Best Buy, they had a model of it up, and I knew it was small, but I didn't realize it was that small.
If you have a 1X, does it really make any sense to buy a Series S?
It just depends on what your goals are for gaming, because the Series S can do ray tracing, and it can run games that the Xbox One X.
Yeah, but see, I don't even use the ray tracing on the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just depends on what you want. If you don't have a 4K TV, or if you don't care about 4K and you only want to spend $300, yeah, the Series S is a good purchase. But if
That's
you
what
care
I'm
about 4K, get a Series X.
The TCL announced 8K televisions, and I'm going to be first in line.
I don't want them to do this. I'm finally like fully adopted into 4K, and now they're going to upgrade me to 8K, and it's going to screw me.
Yeah. I'm getting a 75-inch 8K television.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome.
I don't think you should do it. You got to wait a few years, man. When the technology's new, it's not as good.
Yeah, but it's not new. It's been out for
8K
like
is
4
pretty.
years.
8K is pretty new.
No, it's just now becoming affordable to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those TVs are going to cost like $2,000.
Is there even content in 8K?
No, I'm just saying that I got a PS5, so why wouldn't I just buy a top of the line TV even if it can't reach that? Because like the PS5 ready TVs, we're getting into the weeds. I can talk about this later, not on the podcast.
Sounds good.
No, what I've been getting into though lately is rebuilding guitars. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is really cool.
But let's get into our topic, WandaVision, episodes 1 and 2. Now, as I was saying earlier in the podcast, I've watched both episodes twice, and I got a lot more out of it the second time than I did the first time. And the whole reason I wanted to watch it twice is because the second time I wanted to look for Easter eggs, right? And after I finished it, then I went online to see what other Easter eggs people found. And it turns out that they were pretty easy to spot so far. Like all the ones that they were mentioning online are the ones I found. They didn't really do they didn't try to make it too hard to spot these things, right? But what did you guys think? And now I'm understanding why they released episodes 1 and 2, by the way. Because in case you don't know, episodes 1 and 2 of WandaVision are both in black and white. One is mirroring those old Dick Van Dyke shows. The other one is mirroring Bewitched.
Yep.
All the way down to the music, all the way down to how they mix the audio. Did you notice that? Like the audio had this little fuzz over it, and like
yeah, it was cool.
I loved how authentic they were. But the end of episode 2, and you see this in the trailer, everything turns to color. With
hang on. Let's change the tape at the bottom.
Oh, good looking out, buddy. See, so I introduced these tickers, and then I forgot to change them. Last week we went into Cobra Kai and everything, and I never changed it, Max.
Oh man, really?
Yeah. So, and just to let you guys know, this is spoiler driven. It's episodes 1 and 2. There's not much to spoil
because we don't know what anything means. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But I do, watching it a second time, I did gain some insight. So there's a couple things that happen. So we start our show with a quirky little opening. Wanda and Vision driving to their new home after it looks like they just got married because they were in a wedding. She was in a wedding dress and everything like that, right? Carries her through the threshold. And it basically starts like any other Leave It to Beaver or anything like that, right? Black and white, typical show, live studio audience. It reminded me very much of like I Love Lucy type thing with the hijinks. But I want to get your guys' because I'm doing a lot of the talking here. But Max, you almost forgot to watch it.
No, I would have remembered. Dude, this week at work was busy. It was so ridiculous.
I hear you.
Yeah, so you want to know what I thought about it? That you're going to ask?
Well, I just want to know.
Just give us like the 30,000-foot review.
I don't know what that means. But I will do it. Okay. The high level.
Yeah.
The high level review, I was grinning from ear to ear throughout most of it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was absolutely confusing and super weird, and I have no idea really what's going on. I mean, I have some theories and thoughts, but overall, high level, I think it was really, really fun.
So, what did you think about? So we already know kind of what we're getting from Wanda and Vision, right? As far as cast is concerned, what did you think of the rest of the cast that we got to meet in these episodes?
I mean, I have less opinions about those characters because I don't feel like we've really gotten to know them much yet. What's the neighbor? Is it Diane? Is that her name?
Agnes.
Yes.
Agnes.
No, Agnes. Yeah.
Okay. Agnes was the only one that I really.
Diane was the steak.
Okay.
Steak Diane.
Okay. So Agnes, then that actress I'm more familiar with, so like I attach to that character more because I think the actress is funny. But overall, I didn't really have much of a connection to any of the characters. I thought it was very odd, and it seems like it's kind of interesting because the vibe I'm getting is that someone is mind controlling her, which is ironic since she has mind control powers. But I mean, I don't want to take the conversation too far off the rails. I didn't know if that was something you were going to bring up later, but
yeah, we might speculate later about theories.
Yeah,
theories and Easter eggs. I figured we'd get into that, but I just kind of want to get a high level, view of your guys' thoughts. Sam, what about you?
All right, so I feel like I'm watching a sitcom-themed escape room. And here's what I mean by that, is that there's a lot of stuff happening, but the comedy is like classic throwback comedy from those old sitcoms that I used to watch when I had to stay home sick from school, Bewitched, Dick Van Dyke Show, things that my parents would watch when they were on. But there's this kind of uneasy undercurrent that kind of underscores everything happening on screen because of what I know about these characters, right? Last we saw Vision, he had the Mind Stone gouged out of his forehead by Thanos. When last we saw Wanda Maximoff, she was fighting in the battle, and she was at, I guess the last we saw of her was when she was at Tony Stark's funeral.
Oh, spoiler.
If you haven't seen Endgame, that's on you.
But we don't understand what's going on here. How is any of this happening? How is any of it relevant? I mean, that's anybody's guess, and I'm sure it's going to move in a somewhat expected direction, but in a way that will probably surprise us. And I feel I laughed one time during the first episode, and I laughed a little bit more during the second episode. But as soon as you get into the groove of, okay, the comedy, you let the comedy kind of take control, they hit you with the reminder that, hey, this isn't what it seems. Right. Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too don't take this comedy stuff for granted, don't get too used to it, because there's still that uneasy undercurrent, and all of the clues that they're planning along the way will eventually make sense, I'm sure. But right now, I don't get what they're driving at.
So what I really appreciate, so I agree with you, Sam. When you're watching it, you almost forget that there's something nefarious going on, right? Because they're trying to stay true to the genres that they're trying to mimic, I guess, or pay homage to, or whatever. But you kind of forget that there's this underlying issue that's going on. Why are they here? Where are they? The end of episode 2, it has some pretty big events happen that you can tell how it's spurring off into season 3 or into episode 3, right? But the biggest thing is, the reason I asked Max about those characters, I'm like, Max, why do you like these characters? Some of them play pivotal roles or will in the future, specifically Agnes and specifically Gwendolyn, but she's not Gwendolyn. That's she's the grown up
blonde lady.
No, Gwendolyn is the black woman.
Okay.
She's playing the grown up version of the little girl from Captain Marvel. Her real name's not Gwendolyn.
Oh, really? She's
Monica,
I didn't realize she was playing
or whatever.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
realize she
so
was playing
Marvel
that
announced
character.
that she had been cast as the grown-up version of, is it Monica? What's her name?
I don't know.
I can't
I didn't
remember.
know that. So she's definitely going to be playing a role. And I noticed watching the trailer again today that Darby's going to be in the show, and it seems like there's going to be Darcy. Sorry.
Yeah, Kat Dennings.
Yeah, Kat Dennings is going to be in
Darby
there.
McGill and the Little People.
Well, the main character in Love Life is Darby. I think that's why I got that mixed up. Literally was watching that last night.
Little People.
Dobby's going to be in the show?
Dobby has a sock.
Yeah, so she's playing, I always forget how to say her last name. I know the first name's Monica. But the other thing is so there's a scene where she's talking with Dottie, who's basically like Queen Bee of the street, it looks like, right? The super blonde, she looks like the leader of the parents, what do they call it? PTO committee or whatever. Yeah. She's also the leader of the homeowners association and everything else. Like, she just looks like that kind of woman that we all know on our street.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where her and Wanda are talking. Wanda's like, "Why don't you like me?" essentially. And then something starts happening with the radio, right? So it's playing Beach Boys' Help Me. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, help me. It's Help Me, Rhonda. And instead of saying Rhonda, it says Wanda.
Yeah. So that is the voice that comes through. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it's the Randall Park, the FBI agent from Ant-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we already know that he's playing a big role in this show because it was announced that he was cast and he's in like 6 episodes. So,
is he also the principal of?
No,
that's a different guy. He's the guy from the
Howling Commandos.
The Howling Commandos from Captain America.
Well, it's his grandson, but yes, it's the same actor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a different Asian actor. Sam, you racist.
Man, I clearly have not
disavow.
I clearly have not been paying that much attention to WandaVision news because you keep talking about things. You're like, yeah, and as we knew, this character was going to be this, and this character. I'm like, I did not know.
For the last 6
I've come
months,
in so.
The last 6 months, I've been reading about the show, watching late night things with these actors. Like, I know all the inside scoop, bro. I know.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and at the same time, you know nothing.
I still know nothing.
At the same time, you know nothing.
Well, it's been interesting because I usually follow Marvel news like so closely, especially because of this podcast. But for some reason, WandaVision, I guess I just didn't see as much, and so it's been kind of fun coming in fairly blind, other than just seeing the trailer. Like, that's pretty much my only exposure is the trailer.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've like dug for information on these things, both legitimate. So I'll be careful what to say when I'm bringing up a piece of information. I'll be careful to say what's legitimate or what is theorized, right? So, and actually, let's bring up this one. So theories. There's some theories, particularly with the Catherine Hahn, I think is her name. What's that actress that plays Agnes?
Yeah, Catherine Hahn.
She is, so Agnes is short for the name Agatha Harkness, who is a longtime nemesis of Scarlet Witch and eventually becomes like a tutor to her, essentially. Now, what we don't know, we don't know this. Like, this is just something people are assuming because the name Agnes, a theory. It's a theory. But the name Agnes seems to be a derivative from Agatha Harkness, right? Which would make sense. She's a huge character in Scarlet Witch's canon, so it makes sense that that's who that would be. The part that I'm theorizing that I didn't read online is I'm wondering, is this the Agnes that's Wanda's nemesis, or is this the Agnes that's Wanda's kind of mentor, right? Because in the show, she seems to be very friendly with Wanda. And I do think that the creepy figure we saw at the end of episode 1 that was watching the screen, watching the show, I do think that that's Agnes, because it was a woman. I don't know if you could tell by the hands and stuff. It was a woman watching the screen.
Yeah, I thought it was a man.
No, it was
Yeah,
a man.
I didn't see enough to make any kind of judgment call.
Well, the hands were very feminine, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, but so are yours.
They are not.
I knew I'd get you with that one.
I can vouch. I've held his hands. They are smooth, feminine. He paints his nails.
I do.
Clear
Clear
coat.
Yeah. So there are some other reasons why this may be Agatha Harkness. Specifically, the bunny's name was Senor Scratchies.
Senor Scratch.
Senor Scratch. That is the name of Agatha Harkness's son, Nick Scratch, in the comic books. So the bunny and the son share a name from the comic book history and the TV show.
Okay.
But what I was going to say is I'm not sure if that person at the end that we saw season 1 is keeping Wanda in this scenario, or if Wanda has put herself in this scenario, because we do know that the logo, the sword with the circle that we saw on the back of the beekeeper's outfit and the logo on the helicopter. We know that that's the logo for Sword, which is a offshoot of Shield. Did you guys know that?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
knew that, Sam.
Yes.
So we saw it on the helicopter that ironically has the same colors as Iron Man. You guys saw that?
Yeah.
Notice that? This is why I wanted to watch it 2 times, because I'm like, did I miss that? Or was that? So it's
the first episode, the only thing that had color was the red beeping from the Stark toaster.
Yeah, did you notice the toaster had the same sounds as Iron Man's suit?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the light was red, wasn't it? The second episode, what we get color is the blood on
the hand
and the helicopter.
And then, of course, at the very end, everything.
And then at the very end, everything goes color.
Right. But so that logo with the circle and the sword that's on the helicopter, it's on the back of the beekeeper's outfit. It's in that room where at the end of episode 1 where that person is watching the TV. That logo is everywhere. And Sword are good guys. They're not bad guys.
Hydra-free Shield.
Yes. So it's a spinoff of Shield. It's they are supporters of the Avengers. So that's why I'm thinking we haven't seen anybody bad in this show, with the exception of Agnes. We don't know if she's good or bad. I'm wondering if Wanda did this to herself, and all these people, the FBI agent, who I also think is in the beekeeper outfit, and Agnes, who I believe is watching at the end of episode 1. I think they're all trying to get her out. Like, I don't know if she's in some comatose state or what, but I think they're trying to get her out of this world that she made for herself. Because the reason I think it's her world is because at the end of episode 2, she rewinds the tape herself.
She says no, and then zip, 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 zip.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about my theories?
I don't know enough to make a judgment call. I mean, they sound great. It's not too far from what I'm thinking.
I was thinking someone else was keeping her there, because I thought there was a point where someone said, like, "Who's doing this to you?" I thought there was something like that. On
the radio they do say that, who's doing this to you, but I wonder if they don't know
that she's doing it to herself.
She's doing it to herself.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, it could be a matter of because Vision's alive here, so it could be a matter of like she's put herself in this crazy state where Vision still exists, and it could be some weird psychosis from a magic being or whatever. But I don't know, because we know it takes place after Endgame. Vision's dead, so obviously he's alive in this reality, but is he alive in the real reality? I don't know.
Well, it takes place after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for some? Ready for some real tinfoil hat stuff?
Go for it.
Okay.
Sure. Let's do it.
So recall what Vision looked like after the Mind Stone was plucked from his head. He lost all color, right? He went black and white. And at the start of this series, it's in black and white. And it's kind of just real basic. It's like, the complexity of the plot is very simple. The understanding of what's happening is very simple. The humor of it all is very basic. And as it starts to move forward from episode 1 to episode 2, it becomes a little more complex. And then finally at the end of episode 2, the color resaturates the world, but it's like coming in. So here's my thinking. Wanda is trying to, here's the deal. Vision wasn't destroyed. The Mind Stone was taken away, and it's the same thing that Shuri was trying to do in Wakanda, right? But she was trying to do it carefully and in a way that would allow Vision to continue living. Mm-hmm. Well, let's say Wanda picked right back up. She recovered Vision's body, and she's trying to assemble things back together. And right now, when she got the corpse, it's colorless, it's lifeless, it's just black and white. But as she gets things started and he starts coming back to life and the color starts coming back into his visage, it's also saturating the world that they're inhabiting together. And I think Wanda, as a source of power derived from the Mind Stone, is using that to rebuild all of Vision's neural networks. And so it's like piece by piece, they're rebuilding these pathways so that Vision can resume or reclaim all of the powers that he had through Wanda, who's now basically the stand-in for the Mind Stone. I don't know what her being... Now, this is a big spoiler, so to my sister and brother-in-law who might be watching, I might want to turn it off now, but I don't know what her being pregnant represents, but I don't think it is actually her being pregnant or having a baby in the real world. I think it's symbolic of something that is in his mind or that is in his body as it's rebuilding itself. Those are my thoughts. That's kind of my tinfoil hat theory.
I like that because you're right in that we know that like they're linked via the same powers, essentially. She got her powers from the Mind Stone. He had the Mind Stone. That's how he became sentient. So I like that. That's a cool theory that like maybe this whole thing is her kind of rebuilding Vision and using her powers to bring him back to life, essentially. I think that's a cool idea.
So I have some questions. So are we operating under the theory that though this is all in her head? That she's
either it's in her head or someone's doing it to her, but I'm kind of...
I think they're doing a shared dream Inception style.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm trying to figure out Scarlet Witch from Sokovia, right?
Yep.
So first of all, how did she know what these TV shows are?
Well, okay, so that...
Second of all, why don't they all have Sokovian accents? Because her accent is just gone.
Yeah, seriously. She doesn't have an accent in the main series either. She stopped having an accent after Ultron.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I noticed definitely now.
She didn't have one in Infinity War. She didn't have one in Endgame.
She had a slight accent in Civil War, but yeah, it got less and less each movie.
So did they just think the accent wasn't working and they just tapered it out?
Yeah, it was too hard to maintain. It didn't sound very good, so they just let it go. And no one cares. Yeah, honestly, nobody cares.
I don't care.
But I want to know why she chose these old television sitcoms.
Maybe she didn't. I mean, Vision is essentially a database.
Like
the Jarvis part of him was a database that had tons of information. And so maybe he's the dreamer and she's the one who's there to do the inception, right? If we're going with the inception route.
And if we're going the Jarvis idea, I mean, Jarvis was not basically, he was like Tony's AI. And maybe these are shows that Tony really liked. And so Jarvis has like this weird AI connection to those types of shows because of Tony or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm also trying to think too, like the commercials, right? Because everything in these Marvel shows is purposeful, right? We know that. They're giving us 30-minute tidbits of these little pieces of information, right? And they're having these commercials in the middle of it. First of all, why is the toaster resembling Iron Man and the helicopter resembling Iron Man? So how does Iron Man play into this? Because he obviously plays some role. And then the watch commercial was all about Hydra.
Strucker. It was a Strucker watch, like Baron von Strucker.
Yeah, but it also has the Hydra logo on the face of the watch.
Yeah, because he was Hydra.
Yeah, he was like the leader of Hydra.
I know. So I'm wondering, like, why are we bringing up the Hydra thing again? Why are we bringing up Stark Industries? Like, how did those two things play a role into what's currently happening?
Well, if we're talking about
so it's all about Age of Ultron, right? You have Vision is the child essentially of three creators. You've got Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and then Ultron himself.
Well, and Thor.
Well, no, Thor is just the lightning. I'm talking about Tony and Bruce built the AI, okay, that incorporated the Mind Stone. And then Ultron built the body itself. And so the three of those things together form Vision. It's basically Jarvis and Ultron put together.
Yeah.
And so,
dude, James Spader should make an appearance in this show. I hope he does.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And so you have basically all of the components from Age of Ultron resurfacing in WandaVision. So it's going to be heavy Iron Man. It's going to be heavy Baron von Strucker. I'm sure Ultron is going to take some kind of form here. Yeah, and I think Ultron will eventually make a return, not necessarily in the series, but he will. He's not gone from the MCU.
Yeah, he's technically dead, but just like any AI, like Jarvis.
Well, you don't know that he's dead. All we saw was this bright flash at the end of Age of Ultron. We don't know what that meant. Yeah. It could mean anything.
I hope not, dude, because James Spader is like one of the best actors ever. So I want him to be back. I really hope it'd be awesome if they make like if one of these episodes, like Wanda and Vision have like a really crappy next door neighbor who like lets their dog crap in their yard and stuff, and it's James Spader. But I don't know. It's hard to talk about the show because
we don't know anything.
They gave us a bunch of information, but we're like, okay, now what do we do with this information? Because we're able to dissect the Easter eggs pretty easily. I mean, the Easter eggs aren't like, we understand the helicopters in Iron Man's colors, and we understand, but we don't know what any of that means, right?
Yeah.
We don't know who's good guys, who's bad guys. We don't know who's real, who's not. I have a theory that the only people that are real are the Beekeeper, Agnes, Monica or Gwendolyn or whatever her name is, and Wanda.
Well, there are some people who survived episode 1 and were brought back in episode 2. So you have the boss and his wife, Mr. Hart, Mr. and Mrs. Hart. You also have
love her.
Yeah. And then you also have the Queen Bee's husband was in episode 1 as a coworker. And then he's also in episode 2.
Did you see? So Deborah Jo Rupp, as we know, is the mother from That 70s Show.
Mm-hmm.
She also plays Mrs. Hart. But did you see, like, she kind of worked in the laugh a little bit from That 70s Show, that you know, that the kitty laugh or whatever?
I don't think I watched
maybe
the
that's
show
just her
enough
laugh.
to have a reference.
I don't know. It was a way how she like. You could tell she was drawing some information from how some inspiration from how she carried herself from that 70s show. How she comes in with her arms real open and everything. I saw similarities between the two characters because she's played like a housemaker type wife before. It has nothing to do with the show. I'm just saying it made me happy.
Yeah,
to
fair
see
enough.
that.
It might have been a little Easter egg. It might have been that the director was like, "Hey, I like that 70s show. Do your little giggle."
I even told Matt, I said, wouldn't it have been awesome if Mr. Hart was Red Foreman, the actor that plays Red Foreman?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would have been a bit on the nose, though, I think. But there's still more to be seen. So there's gonna, and we'll probably talk briefly about the new episodes in our shows coming up. There's how many episodes is there, Max? 10?
10, I believe, yeah.
10 30-minute episodes, one a week, which
30-ish
seems like
30-ish minutes.
Ish, yeah. Hopefully they don't pull a Mandalorian and tell you it's 45 minutes and it's 20.
Well, the first episode was about 20 minutes long. After the credits and everything were taken out, it was about 21 minutes long. The second episode was 30 minutes long, but they list it at 36 and change, but 6.5 minutes of that is just credits.
Dude, the end credits are so long.
Yeah, I was waiting for something, so I just, zipped to the end, and there wasn't anything. It was just Portuguese.
Yeah.
Max, you might like that.
They don't give you the watch next episode until you're at the very end of the stream.
Yeah,
like, you have to go all the way to the end to get to the next episode.
It made me wonder if I should rewatch the credits to see if I missed something.
No, you didn't.
No,
I watched them.
Not the black and white credits, but like they had the more colorful credits at first.
It's a whole looks like kind of like the Quantum Realm a little bit. Like there's nothing. I've watched it like 3 times already to see if I could find something, but I haven't found anything. And I haven't seen anybody online say there's anything in there either. But
yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that this show is supposed to be the linchpin, right? This show is supposed to directly take us into the events of Spider-Man 3, into the events of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's called.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
This show is what sets all. So we know Spider-Man 3 is most likely a multiverse Spider-Verse situation, right? We know that Doctor Strange is a multiverse. So this is supposed to be that linchpin that and Scarlet Witch plays a starring role in the new Doctor Strange movie. So we know something happens to set those movies off. What I don't see happening is this playing anything really into Black Widow. Maybe the Eternals, I don't know.
I don't think it'll play into Black Widow at all because originally Black Widow was supposed to come out before it. Eternals maybe, but I have a feeling that the Eternals is just kind of going to be its own thing, and maybe it'll tie in during the movie, but I don't think any of the shows are going to be tying into Eternals.
I just think WandaVision, when it's all done and we're looking back on it, much like how we looked back on the original Avengers and the events that played out and how it affected, or Ant-Man had were big pivotal moments in the MCU as far as introducing new topics that would carry on for multiple movies. I think WandaVision is going to be that show that really. I think WandaVision is going to bring the idea of a multiverse into this. I think WandaVision is also going to be the introduction of mutants because, as we know, Scarlet Witch is supposedly Magneto's daughter.
Yeah.
At least in the comics.
Yeah.
So you can use Scarlet Witch to do a lot of things to bring kind of retcon mutants into this, bring in the multiverse and stuff. So I think we're going to back and see how pivotal this show is to the further.
Yeah. What if there's an episode where Wanda's parents come for dinner? That would be pretty good.
Love that.
Michael Fassbender walks in.
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Or Ian McKellen. I love both
Ian
those
McKellen.
ideas because I thought
Ian McKellen's an old man. He would have fathered her at a very old age.
But they were both fantastic Magnetos.
I agree.
But
I don't know. What do you guys think of these first 2 episodes? Did it do enough to get you to watch episode 3?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm honestly completely bewildered. So, in order to get this whole thing straightened out, what?
Are you bewitched by the Scarlet Witch?
I'm almost bewitched. I'm more bewildered than bewitched.
But now, are you wanting to watch episode 3 because it's a Marvel property, or because the first 2 episodes did enough to get you pumped?
I wish they would give us just a little bit more of a sense of what was happening outside of this kind of kooky sitcom world. I wish there was just a little bit more, because I feel like I have no idea what's happening. We're an hour into a 5-hour long series, and I have no idea.
If I were to go ahead.
I just want to say a joke real quick. It's funny that the first 2 episodes were black and white, but yet this show is anything but black and white.
Right.
There's so much gray.
So much gray.
Well, what I was going to say is that if this had been my first introduction to these characters, I don't know if I would want to watch more, because I would have been there. Because, like Sam said, that he wanted more of like what's really going on. They didn't really give us that many tidbits of what's really going on, and so I feel like if this had been my first introduction, I would probably be like, I don't really want to watch this. Like, it's trying to be a sitcom, but it's not really. But it's 2021. Why are we doing this whole black and white thing? Like, I would have been confused. But for me, because I'm attached to the characters and I like them so much, I really enjoyed this because I know there's something going on. It's not just a sitcom. I know it's something underlying. And so I am intrigued and I am very interested. Not just because it's a Marvel property, but because I love the characters and I want to see what happens. But again, it's the fact that it's a Marvel property is why I love the characters, because they've been introduced before.
So it did enough for me to pique my interest. I'm very interested in watching the whole show, and I probably would have been
too.
even if it sucked. But well, that's not true. I did not watch all of Inhumans, so but it did enough for me to get me. Where I think they misstep is each of these episodes is 30 minutes. This week we got 2 episodes, but further it's going to be 1 episode. I'm wondering if every episode is like this and is not giving you more and more information, if people are going to get real irritated, a la Lost or one of those kind of shows really quick.
Yeah, I could tell you. I mean, I know since we do the show, we're probably going to be talking about each episode each week. But let's say the next 2 episodes were like this last one and they didn't give us much. I probably, if I wasn't doing Couch Crunchers after 2 more episodes of this, would stop watching until the whole season was out and then binge it. So I didn't have to like wait every week.
Yeah, I can see that. And I do want to touch on something you said, Max, where you say that if you didn't have an attachment to these characters, you probably wouldn't watch. And for me, it's the opposite. I'm frustrated because I know the background of these characters. I know what's happened to them. And I know we should be understanding more about what's really happening. If it were, this is kind of like that Tobey Maguire movie, Pleasantville. And
I totally got Pleasantville vibes when they
right?
color.
And if it were not the Wanda Maximoff and Vision, and I wasn't familiar with the characters, I'd probably be more intrigued into finding out what's causing the things going on, or I'd be more invested because I wouldn't have a background. The mystery itself would be enough to drive me. But because I have the background and the characters, I'm getting impatient already. And I'm like, I need to know what's going on right now. This is getting really annoying. And you need to explain to me what's happening to these characters. Whereas if it weren't that way, if I weren't familiar with the characters, I'd probably have more patience and let things play out in the way that the director intends.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I really wish Matt was on tonight because I wanted to dig deeper into if there was a comic book property that closely resembled this. I know there's the House of M where Scarlet Witch kind of loses her mind and stuff like that. So and we know from the wine bottle it kind of alludes to House of M. The wine bottle that was floating when they were serving dinner. But I really wish we had a true comic book nerd on here that could kind of show us or tell us if this has happened before, But I don't know. I'm with you, Sam. I'm like, tell me what the hell is going on. 30 minutes not enough to like keep me satisfied and wait for a whole nother week. Like I'm getting to the point where it's impatient. We're only past episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm usually a big fan of the week by week episodes because it gives me something to look forward to. But with this show, I'm just like, I just wish they had released everything. I want to binge this, and no.
Well, at least really 2 episodes a week would have been better. But going forward, it's only going to be 1 episode a week.
Well, for all we know, next week is really going to start to shed some light on things and give us more tidbits. Rather than some crumbs, maybe we'll get, a bite of steak.
Yeah. I can't wait till they get into the Full House era episode. Because she's already said that they go through the 90s.
Yeah.
And because this is Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's sister, there's going to be some parallels there.
I didn't even think about that, but that is a good point. I hope they
do. I read something from the director.
Make a cameo. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
The director said he did not reach out to Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Now, I don't know that means that they aren't in it, but he said he specifically did not reach out to them. Now, maybe Elizabeth worked some magic, some Wanda magic, and got them on the show. I don't know, but
she was very coy on Jimmy Kimmel.
Of course, she has to be. Her NDAs are probably 40 stories high, and she hasn't even read all of it. She just knows she's not allowed to say
she could have flat out said no. That's not true. But to be coy about that makes it almost seem like there might be a little nugget of truth here, right?
Oh, I see.
At least get John Stamos.
Every straight woman would rejoice. My wife is obsessed with that man.
Or Bob Saget. He can recreate his from Dumb and Dumber. He's like, there's shit on the walls. Have you guys seen that?
No.
So he's at the end of Dumb and Dumber, not the one with or Dumb and Dumber 2 or whatever, not the one with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. And at the very end of the movie, one of them gets poop or chocolate or something. I can't remember what it is, all over the walls of his bathroom. And he comes in and he's like, there's shit everywhere. There's shit on the wall. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I haven't seen either of those movies. I've seen Dumb and Dumber, and the trailers for both of the other ones looked so bad, I never saw them.
The whole movie is garbage, but that end scene with Bob Saget is funny enough to at least watch that. No, but you're right. Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off track. Yeah, so it sounds like we all enjoyed it. It sounds like we're all sitting here like, what the hell is going on? Luckily, they are getting super heavy on the Easter eggs, but I just wanted to say one thing. Kudos to the directors who paid enough attention to the shows in that era to make it seem authentic. Like they really did not hold anything back when it came to authenticity as far as recreating these shows. All the special effects in that first episode, you could tell were on like strings and like the music to the sound editing to how the black and white was, like, because we see noir stuff now. Like if you watch Logan noir, that's all black and white. You can tell it's a very current movie. This looked old, right? Besides the fact that Vision is wearing all his machine stuff and everything like that. So, but kudos to the filmmakers to have paid attention to that much detail.
Amen.
Down to the nightie that she was wearing when she almost slept with Vision's boss.
Yeah,
with the fur cuffs and everything like that. Like that's what I was noticing my first watch was how much effort they actually put into this. So kudos.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job.
So I can only imagine that the whole show is going to be quality. Now, whether we get frustrated or not is a different story. But
here's the good news: 2021, every Friday almost for like the first 6 months of the year, is a Marvel show. There's going to be some breaks in there. But seriously, like every Friday this year up until like June, you're going to have a Marvel show to watch. And that's just cool. That's exciting.
After a year of nothing, like it's great. And then are we also getting some Star Wars stuff this year or no?
I think we're getting the Bad Batch, which is a cartoon, but that's it. And we're getting live action. We're going to get the Book of Boba Fett, but we're not getting Mandalorian season 3 until the beginning of 2022. So we're not getting much live action. We're not really getting anything hardly. I think Christmas Day, they said, or something like that, is when Book of Boba Fett comes out. So you'll get like one episode in 2021, which is crazy. It's crazy. There's like nothing Star Wars this year.
Well, and think about it we also get Zack Snyder's
Justice League
this year. We get
Dune and Godzilla versus Kong.
So barring that, knock on wood, that anything gets delayed, should be a pretty good year for nerds.
Everywhere. Yeah, hopefully. We finally get Fast and Furious goes to outer space. No, I saw a headline about Vin Diesel talking about.
Oh, it's Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious plays Tarzan.
We're supposed to get Fast 9, I think, in April, which was supposed to come out last April.
Yeah, cars swinging on vines.
I want to see cars in the sewers.
I could see them doing that.
That's the Italian job.
Vin Diesel would punch out the window as they're flying the car through the air. He would grab a vine, wrap his legs around the steering wheel, and somehow swing the car
and not rip him in half.
Yeah, he would do it. He would swing the car up into the air, get back into the driver's seat, kick that thing into gear right before it hits the ground, and keep going on in the race. Catch the bad guys.
Yeah,
that's how ludicrous these movies are, and I love them.
I don't think anything beats jumping a car from one building, from one skyscraper to another skyscraper.
I don't know.
Or
zombie car
to see it.
Yeah. It's like we're gonna put rocket engines on the back of our Impala and fly to Pluto.
We're gonna fly this. We're gonna fly this mother trucker into space. We're gonna beat Elon Musk. We're gonna beat Tesla.
I can really see that happening. I really can.
We just got word that Han's on Pluto. He's been kidnapped by Charlize Theron. We gotta go save him.
We gotta go save him on the ice planet Hoth.
Oh man. All right, well, let's give our ratings. Max was late, so Sam gets to go first.
Cool.
Yeah, finally. Jeez. I'm gonna give episode 1 a 3.5. I'm gonna give episode 1 a 3, and episode 2 a 3.5.
Max, what about you?
They felt so connected to me. I wasn't even going to rate them differently. So I was just thinking a straight 4 across the board. Even though I'm confused out of my mind, I really enjoyed it. I was grinning from ear to ear, just having so much fun watching the show.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of nostalgia, right? Because I remember watching those kind of shows when I was a kid. Obviously, I wasn't alive when those shows were created, but
yeah, you get sick and stay home from school. You got to watch them.
Yeah. Leave It to Beaver and I Love Lucy and all those different shows.
I watched a lot of I Love Lucy growing up.
Oh, yeah. I still watch I Love Lucy. In fact, I fell asleep the other day watching the Carol Burnett show. So it's just those old, nothing beats those old shows. And so the first time I watched it, I would have given it a 3 out of 4, but it actually got better my second time. So my firm rating is a 4 out of 5. Sorry. Did I say 3 out of 4? I meant 3 out of 5.
You did.
I think you meant 5 out of 7.
I think I meant 7 out of 6.
It's really good.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend anybody watch it. I also recommend that you two, that if you didn't watch it a second time, to go watch it again and kind of this time put a different cap on and look for things that are a bit out of place. Like everything plays some sort of role. Like the fact that Agnes is wearing a brooch for the whole show is a clue that she is the character I was talking about earlier, the Harkness. But just things as simple as a brooch or the label on that bottle of wine or whatever, like everything has some sort of teas in it. So
Yeah.
Watch it a second time and watch out for those things, the logos, the colors, and everything like that. So, well, that brings us to the end of our show. There was one thing I wanted to. So we kind of got away from doing the news stuff as much, but there was a big piece of news that came out this week. Let me get rid of the banner here. So apparently, and I don't know how true this is, and there's still a little bit of skepticism on my part believing it. But apparently Chris Evans is returning to Marvel.
All right. So here's my take on it. So yesterday, news breaks that Chris Evans is in talks to do at least 2 more and as many as 4 more movies.
It's insane.
Now, whether they're his movies or he's doing cameos or he's a supporting character is anybody's guess. But then this morning, Chris Evans tweets that it's news to him. Well, but here's the deal. Remember the She-Hulk gal and how she said, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that I was in talks."
Yeah.
And
you
then
can't take these people at their word ever. They lie because they have to.
And then 2 months later, she comes out and confirms, yes, she is She-Hulk. Tatiana Maslany, you guys remember that? She was, the rumor breaks and then she denies it in kind of this cagey way, very similar to Chris Evans. Oh, it's news to me. Oh, nobody told me that. Nobody told me that that's what was going on. And then, of course, 2 months later, it is confirmed. So here's my take is that anytime you get these cagey actors after the news breaks, it's because they haven't signed the contract. They haven't signed on the dotted line. They're still negotiating. The ink isn't dry yet. And so they don't know the ins and outs of the deal, and they don't want to talk about it until the deal is done.
I can see that. Well, because didn't the same thing happen with Haley Atwell with her casting in the Hawkeye movie or Hawkeye show? Like, people said that she was going to be in the role, and she's like, "I am."
Haley Atwell?
Yeah. Am I getting the name wrong?
Are you talking about Haley Steinfeld?
Yes.
Haley Atwell is
Peggy Carter. Yeah, sorry. You're right.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? I did not know she was in Hawkeye.
No, sorry. I was thinking Haley Steinfeld.
Did you guys see this from Jamie Lee Curtis in response to his news to me tweet? She says, "Can I play your mother in every film you do?" He goes,
"Yeah, because she was his mom in Knives Out. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, news gets leaked. That's just the fact of the matter. News gets leaked. I mean, that in the age of social media, it's going to happen. But these actors still need to maintain some of their leverage, right? So he's not going to say it till his name's on the dotted line. And Marvel's not going to say it till his name's on the dotted line, right?
Yeah.
So I have a hard time thinking that all these news outlets would report on this if it didn't have an ounce of truth, but I'm still skeptical because he said never, 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 never.
I think
so did Sean Connery about James Bond. And then the next movie he did was called Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't really gotten anything in the MCU since Cap left the MCU. So to tell me he's already coming back, I'm just like, I don't even miss him yet. You haven't given me a chance to even miss him. I kind of want him to be gone. You said he was gone. Let him be gone. That's kind of. I think
it'd be awesome if he came back and was just old, like that Clint
Eastwood. I'm sure that's a lot of visual effects work that goes into that, though. But maybe could be cool.
They got that Marvel money.
I mean, if he was still in things in cameo roles, I think that'd be cool. Like if he was somehow in Captain America and the Winter Soldier or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think that'd be cool. I don't mind that. I don't feel like they need to bring him back as young Cap and have him in the action again.
I still feel like
he had a good ending, and I want that ending to stick.
I still feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier should be a take on Weekend at Bernie's with Cap like being Bernie and being
Cap's
the
not
dead guy
dead.
there. What?
Cap's not dead.
No, I know he's not dead. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like Weekend at Cap's. They go to Captain America's, and he's getting ready to have all this big ceremony. But then he goes catatonic from. He goes into it. Here's the real theory. Remember, he held Thor's hammer at the end of Endgame, right? Well, it took so much out of him that he has Odin sleep. And so he's struck with Odin sleep right as he's getting ready to pass the shield down to Falcon. There's a big to-do, and so now it's Weekend at Cap's because he's in Odin sleep.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's a pitch if I've ever heard
Note
one.
to Marvel: never hire Sam on your writing team.
Oh man, it would be so good. I mean, it can't be any
sounds like
worse
a
than what we're
YouTube
doing now.
video. It sounds like Thor and Todd or whatever the roommate YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That was
that's
good
right.
stuff right there. That's quality
Those are
content.
dynamite. Those are dynamite.
Those are really funny.
But I don't know. Was there any other news you guys want to talk on? I mean, there's the potential of Charlie Cox returning and James Bernthal. That news will not die at all. And then Kevin Feige basically saying, "Well, we never say never." Like he didn't deny it.
Kevin Feige did this when they talked about Charlie Cox. He did this. That's all he did.
Just nodded his head very
enthusiastically.
Ooh, here's something I'm excited about that I didn't know until just now. Moon Knight, the Disney Plus show starring Oscar Isaac. They cast their main villain, and it's Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, yeah.
Oh, so wait, hold on. Is that casting for Moon Knight official then?
Yeah.
I saw that come out, and I thought that was just like maybe it was like a rumor. That's cool.
Yep, it's official.
Yeah, so for me,
Ethan Hawke is fantastic.
Yeah, I like Ethan Hawke. That's cool. I'm down for that. And yeah, that's cool. For me, as far as the news is concerned, I'm there was a lot of video game news this week that was exciting, but it's like stuff that's going to be so far in the future. Like there's an Indiana Jones game that just got confirmed that Machine Games, the guys who did the Wolfenstein game,
that one was cool.
They're going to be doing that. Ubisoft is going to be doing an open world Star Wars game, and there's there's all these like new Star Wars properties that look like they're going to be coming out, and that's really exciting. But they announced this stuff, but I know they're probably not coming out for like 3 to 5 years, so it's like not that exciting. I almost wish they wouldn't have said anything, because now I have to just sit there and know that eventually I can be Indiana Jones in a video game, but not for like 5 freaking years, most likely.
Sorry, Max.
It's okay. I'll live.
You can always go back and play the old Nintendo games. I remember we had an old Nintendo game of Temple of Doom where you got to ride around in a cart and you got to whip things. Very exciting.
I feel like I remember that game. I remember playing an Indiana Jones like game back in like the 90s, and I had a lot of fun with it. Might have been the same one.
I bet it was. Well, Lance, this is your ship.
Yeah. Are we done tonight? Are you here? Lance has gone silent. All right, I guess I'm going to be taking over. I don't think there's any more news. Lance is having some kind of technical issues. This is 2 weeks in a row. 2021 is going great for end of the show Lance content. But we are going to go ahead and close the show out tonight. We have had a good run, hour and 24 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining up. As always, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Couch Crunchers. And on the website, we haven't had any new articles going up lately, but there was some real good gems on there from the past. Please give those some clicks and let us know what you think. But until next time, keep on geeking on. Lance is gone. I don't know who's going to be able to end the live show.
Oh, shoot. Oh, no.
Do we just keep talking until he comes back? I tried to say keep on geeking on, but now we're still live. And he's the one.
We got to keep on geeking on for Lance. Do you have the live button?
I don't have a live button, but I can leave and log in as Couch Crunchers and end the show if you want to. Actually, if we both leave, I bet it'll end the live.
But we don't know that.
We don't know that.
Here, let me tune in. Let me tune into the YouTube. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So
is it over?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there you are, Lance. All right, Lance.
I put my other headphone in, and then everything like stopped.
Well, I tried to end the show a few minutes ago, but then you left, and I don't have the end of the broadcast button. So until next time, keep on geeking on.
Keep.
Bye, everyone.